Boom.
All right. Just go ahead and state your name and your current job title / position.
Cindy Hutzel, instructional, Boone High School. I teach AP Lit, Advanced Placement Literature, and college prep.
All right. So, what made you want to teach?
This is such an interesting question. I actually homeschooled my children for 14 years.
Oh, cool.
And I did not have any vision for them attending high school. And I knew what I would put them in a high school. I knew I didn't have the expertise to handle if they wanted to go to a 4-year university.
Yeah.
So my daughter was in her sophomore year of college, and it was like, wow, this is kind of expensive. I guess I better go back to work. And I thought, what kind of profession can I do to still hang around my kids? So I was a communications major in college. So I thought, well, let me see if I could teach high school. I was very, involved at the high school where my daughter had attended and one of my boys was at the time. And so I went ahead and got my certification in English, took the subject test, and then picked up some education hours. And the state gave me, I only had to take like 7 extra hours and got my teaching certificate that way.
So the communication degree kind of transferred into the teaching degree?
I think so. I think too, though, that because I had that background in teaching my own children and also teaching under a private school covering for a while, I just loved it. I believe it is a profession you have to be called to.
Yeah.
You have to have a passion for it, or you should quit. For sure.
Well, you already answered the next question. What was your major in college?
Yeah.
So we'll skip ahead. So what are the challenges of this job? What are some challenges?
The biggest challenges right now, I teach seniors, so it doesn't affect me as much. But the biggest challenges are definitely the amount of standardized testing, the requirements of the testing that come with every single course now. I think there is still a little bit of a disconnect between what lawmakers would like to see produced from our public schools and the reality of what is really going on. There is a huge challenge in trying to keep 25 plus children engaged in material that may be below them or above them, and trying to find that happy medium according to what skills they are bringing into the classroom. So those are definite challenges. Also, children are by the time they get up to the high school level, and I'm teaching them as seniors, I mean, there's graduation right there. And if they've had any pitfalls along the way, that can just be so daunting for them. And to keep them just really fully engaged in the material and getting them across that finish line.
I mean, through my experience, it really does seem like a challenge, honestly.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, you yourself were absolutely brilliant. And yet, I don't think you even liked that much about school, and that so many children are like that. I get so offended, and I get at them, and I'm like, it's not a prison, this is a privilege, but you don't often see it that way.
Of course.
And it's just is what it is sometimes. So I try to make them not hate life and school. So that's really what
I think that would be my major goal as a teacher as well. Yeah, make learning fun.
Yeah, it's just not that bad. Yeah, I promise you.
So now, what do you like the least about the job? Would that kind of tie into those challenges? Like,
no, because what I like, I love the kids.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to meet them where they are. But probably what I like least is all the data mining. I think that the initiatives that are sometimes implemented into a public high school classroom by outside forces are not always what is best for the children.
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like that's kind of again, there's that a little bit of disconnect there.
I got you.
So that's what's difficult for me.
Looping back around, what do you like best about your job?
I like everything. I really do believe you have to have a passion for this career, or you should get out.
Yeah.
I love seeing those light bulbs go off in their heads when we're teaching them Shakespeare,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Or when am I allowed to talk about you?
Yeah.
You know, when I'm teaching something like Anglo-Saxon literature, like Beowulf, and to have a student like you create something how many years ago that I still show my students today, because that video showed me your complete grasp of the material.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what was happening and what was going on, and you were assigned a creative project, and you came up with that.
Yeah.
That's like a party for me to see them excel and to understand things that they probably were A, not interested in, B, seemed incredibly difficult, and C, it was nothing they wanted to acquire. But literature is the thread that binds humanity together. It's our memory, it's our experience, it's our expression of everybody that's gone before us. And so to have you guys, connect to something. Shakespeare's just as relevant today as he was in the 1600s and late 1500s. It's just, we're doing the same entertainment. So that is what I love about it. I love seeing kids, walk out of here going, "Oh my God, I don't hate English so much anymore." So it's kind of...
That's really interesting. It's really interesting. So, in a quick summary, what does your typical day consist of?
Okay, my typical day is coming in. I have my classes are split up between college prep first 2 periods, AP Lit 3rd period, college prep 4th period, AP Lit 5th and 6th period. So whatever it is, we got to watch our announcements. We do that first period now. It's all different than when you were in school. And then just really being consistent with the material. So whatever we're working on, they should know that, hey, we're going to get that out. This is what we're doing. Here's where we are in the material. This is what we're going to do. If we're going to start something new, I have them for 49 minutes, 40 minutes on Wednesdays. And we just layer our material and let's get going. The kids know what the expectations are when they come into class. And so a typical day just goes through those periods according to the material, and that's what we do. So
is there like a certain schedule or thing you have to follow with planning your lessons?
No. There are some suggestions that the county has provided for us, curriculum resource materials, CRMs. We do, though, here's what is required. Every quarter, there is an emphasis on what we call the Florida state standards. Florida did not adopt to go with Common Core, so we adopted our own standards. And the county has broken them down into, these are the standards you should cover for the quarter. And then it is my job to apply the material to those standards. Am I meeting those standards with the material that I'm choosing to teach? They give us, leeway, they give us creativity. It's a little difficult when we get up to the 11th and 12th grade because there has been a huge emphasis on nonfiction material. So analyzing literature is a new skill for them a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I think I prefer that way before Common Core, honestly, because I think it helps children out.
You really do have to know where your kids are and what you think they can handle. And I think that perhaps sometimes Common Core was not presented in the spirit that it was meant, if that makes sense. Like the idea is to get everybody kind of on the same page, kind of studying the same things. But I think you can be creative with that. It's just Florida decided to adopt a different set of standards.
All right.
So, yeah.
So describe the career path you took leading up to this position, like jobs leading up to this. Oh, you already described that, didn't you?
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I was just very blessed. I was able to stay home. I have 4 children. I was able to homeschool them up until the oldest. I put her in high school, and the second one I put him in 8th grade. The third one I put him in 8th grade, and the fourth one I went back to work, so he went into school in 6th grade. Okay. And so I'd always taught them, and then again teaching some private school classes as well. I did that. So yeah.
And now, last question.
Sure.
What advice do you have for an aspiring teacher such as myself?
Well, I have the privilege of knowing you, and I always joke, like, why do you want to do this? But my advice to you would be to embrace your position.
Mm-hmm.
It is to embrace the job and embrace the students that are brought to you every year. There's going to be some that drive you crazy.
Of course.
But the idea then, and for me, it's always, all right, this kid's a tough nut.
Yeah.
How can I win him over?
Mm-hmm.
How can I get him to buy in? How can I create a welcoming classroom where I'm not the Wicked Witch of the West, or you're not always the bad boy, or the girl that's rebellious, or the person that loves to cause trouble? So to me, my best advice would be to embrace what you're doing every year. You're going to have some tough years. There's some tough years.
Oh, yeah.
2009, I almost quit my job. So, but then you just have to look for that positivity that comes, because every period is new, every year is new, and you get one shot. You get one shot at these kids, 180 days, if they all show up.
Yeah.
And what kind of impact do you want to make in their lives? Can you pour good into them and let them see? I think it's fabulous that you're considering this career. I don't think we have enough male teachers in the profession. It's always been relegated to, that's something women do. But I think there's so many young men and young women that can benefit from seeing a positive role model. That would be my best advice.
All right, well,
embrace it.
Thank you so much. That concludes the interview. I think
right.
we, what we talked about, honestly, I was kind of iffy about the position. It was something that was just an option, but it was the biggest option that I had. And it was something I did truly want to do. But I think I'm actually really excited to get started on my pathway to becoming a teacher.
See, look at you already. And you were already a fabulous student. I mean, you really were. I could see it. And that's one thing you'll get when you're teaching kids. You're going to go, that kid's brilliant.
Yeah.
That kid needs some help. You know what I mean? And
of course.
That kid's slumming it in here. And that kid's like, I have definitely even had children in summer school. I did it 3 times last summer when I teach summer school. And now summer school is only about recovering courses. And I moved 3 kids from summer school into my AP Lit classes this year.
Wow.
Because
awesome.
they have it going on.
Yeah.
And they've just been languishing and just in these other classes. And if you're having to repeat English in summer school, something went wrong. And the kids have to own their part of it, which they do. But you can just see, and you'll have that enthusiasm. And if you're going to go into math or science, that would be great. That'd be great.
I think that's what I'd like.
That's great. That'll be fun. You'll love it.